It began with a dream of power, progress, and a future where humanity believed it could conquer anything. In the early 1st century, the world was changing rapidly, and at the center of this transformation stood a ship unlike any ever built. They called her the Titanic, a floating city, a masterpiece of engineering, and a symbol of human ambition. Many believed she was unsinkable, but on a cold night in April, that belief would be shattered forever. The Titanic stretched over Bod-Bide Basharar feet, making it the largest moving object of its time. Inside, it was nothing short of extraordinary. Grand staircases, luxurious dining halls, elegant cabins, and even a swimming pool reflected the wealth and innovation of the era. For the rich, it was a palace at sea. For immigrants, it was hope, a journey toward a better life. On April the Titanic departed from Southampton, carrying more than Urbeck passengers and crew, each with their own story, their own dreams, and their own destination. And life on board was a world of contrasts. In first class, guests enjoyed fine dining, music, and comfort beyond imagination. Conversations flowed about business, ambition, and the future. Meanwhile, in third class, families gathered in shared spaces, children laughed and played, and music brought people together. Despite the differences, there was one belief shared by all: this ship was safe, it was strong, modern, and unstoppable. The ocean seemed calm, almost welcoming, but beneath that calm surface, danger had already begun to form. Ice warnings had been received from other ships, signaling the presence of massive icebergs in the North Atlantic. Yet the Titanic continued at near full speed. Confidence overshadowed caution. After all, how could a ship this advanced be at risk? The night of April, Sus arrived in silence. The sea was still, the sky was clear, and the stars shimmered above. It was a peaceful night, almost too perfect. At 6 p.m., everything changed. High above the deck, the lookout spotted an iceberg directly in the ship's path. Orders were shouted, the wheel was turned, and engines were reversed, but it was too late. The Titanic was too large to react in time. The iceberg scraped along the side of the ship, tearing through its hull in a way that seemed almost gentle. Devastating. At first, many passengers were unaware of the seriousness of the situation. There was no massive explosion, no immediate chaos. And below deck, water was rushing in. The ship's compartments were being filled faster than they could be controlled. The realization slowly spread among the crew. The Titanic was going to sink. Disbelief filled the air. This was the unsinkable ship. How could it possibly fail? Passengers were reassured, and some hesitated to leave the comfort of their cabins. But as time passed, the truth became impossible to ignore. Lifeboats were prepared, and a harsh reality emerged. There were not enough for everyone. Panic began to take hold. Orders of women and children first echoed across the decks. Families were separated in moments that would last forever. Husbands watched as their wives and children were lowered into lifeboats, unsure if they would ever meet again. Some lifeboats were launched half-empty due to confusion and hesitation, while others were filled beyond capacity. Time was slipping away. And as the bow of the Titanic dipped into the freezing ocean, the once grand ship began to tilt. Lights flickered and the sense of urgency intensified. The symbol of human achievement was slowly surrendering to the power of nature. And yet, in the midst of chaos, the ship's band continued to play. Their music echoed through the cold night, offering a sense of calm, a final act of courage in the face of inevitable tragedy. Desperation grew. Some passengers jumped into the icy water where survival was measured in minutes. Others clung to hope, waiting for rescue that seemed too far away. The freezing Atlantic showed no mercy. Then, at RSAM, the Titanic broke apart and disappeared beneath the surface. In just a few hours, the unsinkable ship was gone, taking more than WUBAC lives with it. Silence followed. The lights were gone, the music had ended, and the vast ocean returned to stillness. Lifeboats floated in the darkness, carrying survivors who would forever remember the night that changed everything. Rescue eventually arrived, but for many it came too late. The disaster shocked the world. Questions were asked, and investigations revealed critical mistakes. Too few lifeboats, ignored warnings, and overconfidence in technology. The Titanic became more than a tragedy. It became a lesson. A lesson about nature's power, human pride, and the limits of progress. For decades, the Titanic lay hidden beneath the ocean, lost to time. Then, in Ichenjobite-Bashawu, it was discovered once again, resting over 2 miles below the surface. Broken, silent, yet preserved. Artifacts were recovered and stories were brought back to life. The world once again looked toward that night, trying to understand what had happened. Today, the Titanic is more than just a ship. It is a symbol of ambition, tragedy, and humanity. In its final hours, what defined the Titanic was not its size or luxury, but the people, the bravery, the love, and the sacrifices made in those final moments. These human stories are what keep its memory alive. More than a century later, we are still drawn to the Titanic, still asking questions, still imagining those final moments, still trying to understand the emotions of that night. Because the story of the Titanic is not just about a ship that sank. It is about humanity itself, its dreams, its flaws, and its vulnerability. And deep beneath the cold waters of the Atlantic, the Titanic still rests, silent, timeless, and unforgettable, a reminder of what once was and of a night when the world stood still.